Hi everyone, it is Diane Flores with Venus Pole Fitness, Living the Goddess Life. You may know me there as well. I'm excited tonight to bring a live clean eating mini workshop to you. It'll probably go a little longer than anticipated because I have so much to talk to you guys about tonight. With the start of Goddess Body University starting on Monday, I've been getting lots of emails, some DMs in Facebook and in Instagram, just kind of asking questions, you know, what are the meal plans like, what to expect, that sort of a thing. So I figured it'd be perfect timing to come in here and give you guys a taste of exactly my philosophy in terms of some of the things that I keep on the regular in my own personal refrigerator, things that I like to introduce my clients to, and things that I talk about in my nutrition workshops when I start Goddess Body University. So we do a kickoff meeting if you're local at the studio, which I also record for my online clients as well, so they don't miss a thing. But it is this is going to be a condensed version of that because I am going to get down to the nitty gritty. So if you saw my post earlier, I was talking about the importance of not just exercising and thinking that that is going to solve all of your fat loss problems. That diet is a key mover in the dial for fat loss. So feel free, if you are going along this workshop with me, and chime in, ask any questions. Let me know if you have any tips or anything else that you would like to add, because this is certainly a community effort, and my girls always come up with great little recipes and different ideas and things as well. So, so first and foremost, I'm going to start with breakfast. So keeping it really, really simple, and also letting you guys know that cookie cutter plans are not for everyone. So in my programs, I give out meal plans with a guide. So this is kind of like, so you get a general idea. I was finding that over the years, lots of women were feeling completely clueless and lost with just throwing out a list of appropriate foods to eat, but like how to do it, what sounds good. So years of working with women, going through nutrition school, and then also being in the competition field of bikini and figure competing, I came up with some sort of like healthy, happy middle, happy medium in terms of how I eat day to day, and it's just worked out really well in terms of consistency, and a lot of my clients find a massive success with it as well. So breakfast, we're gonna start there, simple and easy. Feel free to chime in. I'd love to know what you eat on a typical morning for breakfast. No judgment. In fact, there have been a lot of people that thought cereal was like, you know, I do really good, I eat Special K and things like that. And now you can certainly have Special K in moderation from time to time. You guys, I am definitely not standing on a soapbox saying that I don't eat things like cereal, because God knows there's just something about a big bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios that sounds so good sometimes, right? So I do that like, you know, a few times a year. So there's nothing wrong, and I lived on cereal forever. My favorite was Honey Bunches of Oats. Feel free to chime in below if you are a Captain Crunch lover or whatever, but the cereal world has made us think that cereal is like some really big healthy food, when in fact it's not. It's highly processed, and it basically runs through your body and converts into sugar super quick. So definitely switching up your breakfast. So we're going to start there. I know I'm like so passionate about nutrition and how much it has affected and changed my life and my clients and my goddesses that I definitely want to impose that on anybody who's watching today. So feel free, if you like stuff like this and hearing about nutrition and helping other people, feel free to hit share. I would love you forever. That would be awesome. So protein-filled breakfast, muy importante. Usually I rotate between two things because it keeps me full for most of the day, and it's super easy for me. So I usually have tons of random veggies in my fridge, and I can either whip up an omelet, in which I'll show you a couple of the ingredients that I have for that. And then, or also I will do my favorite, which is protein oats. And I usually will do protein oats. So a lot of my girls are like, oh, I have oatmeal. Now, oatmeal, you want to make sure you're doing old-fashioned oats. So this is the old-fashioned, not the quick oats. And the reason for that is that quick oats have been so ground down and finely processed that your body, again, just spits it out. It turns into sugar super quick. And I mean, how many times have you eaten those little packages of oats and then you're hungry like in an hour? Like, it goes through you super fast. So you want something that has some substance to it. This is going to take a little longer to break down and digest. gives your body something to nosh on for a little bit and not having you feel hungry within an hour later. So really easy, you guys. This is my 5-minute oat recipe that's also in my program as well. I think it's even on my blog. You can search my blog, 5-minute protein oats, and it's in there. So oats, I will use water, but if you don't want to use water, I am a big fan of almond milk. So this is just unsweetened vanilla almond breeze and nothing fancy. Everything you're going to see today is super simple, not like, I am literally the quickest clean eat. I think I should be like the quickie clean eater because I don't make anything that takes longer than like 15, 20 minutes because that is way too much work for me. I'm like go, go, go all the time, so the quicker the better. Sometimes I'll make a nice elaborate meal, but for the most part, I'm like, I'm just gonna eat it and like get on with my day, and it has to taste good or else I don't wanna even touch it. So let me see, I got a couple comments in here. Yeah, Eden says, what is this one? Let's see. That's a really good one. I actually saw that on Instagram a couple days ago. Rolled oats with cinnamon, egg whites, and spinach with some salsa is my go-to. So that's kind of, so like, yeah, so you can have oats and then sometimes I'll do an egg white on the side. I'm gonna give you a quick little recipe for protein oats. So if you don't wanna take the extra minute to bust out like a saucepan and make eggs and then make oats and have that all together. Some women are like, oh my God, that's so much food. When I'm like, it's really not that bad and it'll last you for a really long time. So protein oats is, you got oats, like I said, I got sidetracked, shiny objects, and you can do almond milk or you can do water. I tend to stay away from dairy as much as possible. Now, I think I actually forgot my Greek yogurt. I do some dairy. I'm not like anti-dairy 100%, but I have stopped buying cow's milk for a very long time, and I don't bring it home because my kids will just, you know, like a gallon like goes fast. And the reason being is that dairy has actually a lot of sugar in it. Doesn't seem like it because it's not sweet, but it actually does have a lot of natural sugar in it that, you know, isn't necessary. And it definitely, if you're trying to lose body fat, you want to try to cut that dairy out. It's just, it's better in the long haul. I could go on for days on like a dairy rant. Again, I'm not the dairy, like, you know, I'm not like a crazy activist against dairy. I just try to eliminate it as much as possible. And I notice a lot of other benefits to that, including clearer skin, feeling better, better digestion, lots of other perks to that. So I don't bring a lot of dairy in the house. In fact, my boyfriend may not like it, but I haven't been buying cheese either for eggs and things like that. So I've just been kind of like nixing that and finding other ways to make the eggs taste better, which I think he enjoys. I think he's not going to complain about that. So yes, and Ashley says, and it makes you gassy. It does. It totally, for some people, makes you farty and bloated. So that's another reason. Okay, back to my protein oats. Oats, almond milk, and I will throw in some healthy fats. So natural peanut butter. Natural peanut butter, definitely much better for you than the traditional big name brands like Skip and Jiffy. Those, again, highly processed, added sugars, hydrogenated oils, lots of crap in there that your body's like, what is this stuff? I don't know. Let's just add it to your saddlebags and your gut because it's crap. So this is straight up peanuts. Like, it's just ground peanuts. And that really is all that should be in peanut butter, right? Like, it's just ground peanuts. So peanuts, I remember back in high school, my best friend, her parents always had this stuff, and I thought it was like the most bizarre thing ever. I'm like, why is there oil in your peanut butter? That's disgusting. But little trick, bonus tip, store it in your fridge upside down, like this. That's why you can see mine has a gap here because this is already opened. And all the oils come down to the bottom and it naturally sort of separates, mixes itself up. So when you open it up, just make sure it doesn't leak, stir it up, it's good to go. So I will do oats. I will do my vanilla almond milk for breakfast, my peanut butter for a little bit of healthy fats, and to make it protein oats, I will do Quest protein powder. Well, not necessarily just Quest. I will do protein powder. This is one of my top 3 favorite protein powders. I'm out of my very favorite, which is UMP, and that is Ultimate Muscle Protein. So you guys might want to take notes. I didn't even think about this because this is some good little nuggets here for you to just start implementing right away and notice changes super, super easy and fast. And it just takes a little bit of planning and, you know, getting yourself situated, but then it goes quick once you have this stuff. So I'll do a scoop of protein, my oats, my almond milk, my peanut butter, and one more thing. Let me find it. I'm here. I will also add, usually some sort of fruit. And I just got a bunch of strawberries. Berries or blueberries. I usually won't do banana. It's not that banana is bad for you, but there's already some good amount of starchy carbohydrates in your oatmeal. So rather than continue to add more carbohydrates that are high on the glycemic index, like bananas, I'll do something lower, like berries. So strawberries or blueberries, which are also really high in antioxidants and incredibly good for you. So that is one of my go-to breakfasts, which is protein oats. And that will keep me full for a really good portion of the day. Now, another thing I don't sit here and like have hard and fast rules about, because over the last couple years I've been doing lots and lots of research on nutrition and dieting and different modalities and ways that you can do it. You don't have to do this 6 meals a day thing in order to be successful. And in fact, I have several clients that don't. It depends on your eating style. It depends on your schedule. It depends on how hungry you are. So this will keep me full usually till about 12 o'clock. And I don't need a snack from, 7 to 12, and I'm not going to go into starvation mode and like my muscles aren't going to disappear. That's like some crazy myth that some random person made up. And you're not going to get catabolic. So you can go that long, and then it lasts you till lunch. Now, the other option that you have for breakfast, for a protein-filled breakfast, is an omelet. And for me, I prefer to do, I used to tote egg whites for sure forever, and sometimes I'll do that from occasion, but for me personally right now, I prefer to get my healthy fats from the yolks. So I will do usually a 3-egg omelet. I keep all the yolks, that's where all the gold is. And I won't add any extra fat to that. So I personally am not a huge avocado fan. If I was gonna do avocado, I probably wouldn't do as many yolks. I maybe do 1 or 2 and take out some so I don't have all this excess fat. But that is certainly an option. So I will do egg whites, and I will add these little gems, which I haven't had in a while, but I saw them today and I'm like, this is perfect for my talk, because I was at the grocery store and picking up some extra stuff for the house. So these are sun-dried tomatoes. Now, these are not in oil. This is another thing I wanted to talk about. So a lot of the sun-dried tomatoes you'll see in the jar, and they're drenched in olive oil, which is great, no big deal. Again, if you're not gonna have a ton of other fats in your diet, not a huge harm. But I like to save my fats for fun things, and I'll talk about that in just a little bit. As far as my sanity foods, because there are certain foods that if I cut out of my diet, I feel like I'm dieting and I wanna claw my face off. So I have to have those handy so that way the people in my family are safe, okay? So I'm gonna show you what those are in a minute. But these are great to add to your egg white scrambles. Sun-dried tomatoes. Another thing I'll do is I will grab a fistful of spinach. I also use these for smoothies as well, but I will grab a handful of spinach, chop it up super fine, add that in. I'm trying to see what else I got here. I've also got these little guys, zucchini, super quick, chop it up. My secret to this is chop once, use twice. So what that means is while you got the cutting board out, chop it all up, stick it in a Tupperware, and then use what you're gonna use, and then you have it already chopped up for the next day. I usually don't do a huge like food prep like I used to back in the day, because I just do, the method that I love is cook once, eat twice, or sometimes 3 times. So I will just make dinner. When I marinate chicken, I will marinate a ton of chicken and make sure it's a flavor that I like. And then I'm fine with eating it for lunch the next day, sometimes dinner. My kids will eat it, my boyfriend will eat it, my sister, whoever. And so it's definitely a time saver. So chop once, eat twice, okay? So that is one. And then there's other things that I do, and I can hear all of the authentic Hispanic goddesses that I love so much screaming right now when I show you this, but I, again, keep it simple, and I will just buy salsa. Like, I know this is probably like really like not anything fancy. Like I said, I'm super easy, quickie, clean eater. Chunky salsa, garlic, I love me some garlic. So garlic, this stuff is the best to have handy. Throw it on your eggs. The other stuff that I love too is, my other lover is Cholula. Now, Chipotle is thebomb.com. And if you find this one, it's kind of hard to find sometimes, but this is the better one of the Cholulas, I'm telling you. She's a good one. And then, is it Sriracha or Sriracha? Do we even know? I don't know. There's an R in there that just, I feel really guilty saying Sriracha. So those are some of the things I do to spice up my eggs, also my dinners as well. So that is the other option for breakfast. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything, because then I want to go into lunches and dinners. And what I do, so what else I'll do is I buy these super huge gigantuan bags of broccoli florets. Now, I get often asked, should I do frozen? Should I do canned? Like, those are the small rocks. That's like stuff that, like, dude, if you're just eating veggies, I'm happy that you're eating veggies. However, if you want to get really finicky, buy what you're going to eat. So if you hate canned vegetables, don't buy canned vegetables. If you hate frozen, don't buy frozen. Personally, I would take the extra couple minutes to buy fresh. However, I always usually have a backup bag of frozen broccoli in the freezer, because it's nice to just, my sister and I actually looked up a recipe the other day, and we had, you can make roasted broccoli with frozen broccoli florets. I didn't think that was possible, and we did it the other day. It was actually really, really good. So sometimes I will chop up, actually most of the time I will chop up broccoli and also add that to my omelets for breakfast if I'm going to do an omelet for breakfast instead of oatmeal. So that is another option. Now this, we'll move into like lunches and dinners, and I kind of put them in the same category because you can really do a lot of this stuff for both. Now the other thing, let me back up just a second. The other thing that I find incredibly important, and I get asked a lot about, is what can I put in my coffee, or like what's okay to put in my coffee. Now I brew coffee at home. It's sort of like my morning ritual. I have a Chemex. I don't know if any of you guys know what that is. Thanks to Coach Claudia, she introduced me to that, and now I can't have coffee any other way. I feel like a spoiled baby about it, but I will usually do coffee at home. Now you can do almond milk, and I used to preach that to the stars, like almond milk, ditch the creamer, creamer is terrible for you, and which in reality, it is not the best thing for you in the world. Caveat. If this is the only thing you're doing and everything else is like pretty golden, have your damn creamer. Like, this is one of the things that when you take this away from me, I feel like I am contest dieting and I want to stab my eyes out. So I will do usually 1 cup of coffee. Now my coffee doesn't look more like creamer than it does coffee. It's just, it's maybe a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. I don't measure it. I just kind of eyeball it. And you know what? If this is the worst thing in the world, I'm not drinking 2 liters of soda. If you're not drinking 2 liters you're not running through In-N-Out Burger every day, have yourself some damn creamer. Okay, girlfriend? I just gave you permission. You're fine. You're not going to die. You're not going to gain 30 pounds off your damn creamer that you're having once a day. Okay? That is my soapbox statement about freaking creamer. So, so that is one of my many rants on food. So, okay, so the other thing I do is when I say I cook once, eat twice, I have all my frozen goods out here, and I'm in my hot tub room, so like if you see me, like I'm super red, that is why. So we're defrosting meat as we're having this workshop right now. The other thing that I do is I don't make it a big deal to have a bunch of fresh meat. Like, I hate running to the grocery store. Like, in general, I used to love it. I used to spend like 2 hours when I first went to nutrition school. I was so impressed by like everything I was learning. I wanted to read every label, and I just was like, it just opened my eyes to so many new things, and I wanted to be there forever. Not so much anymore. Now I'm like, okay, I'm going, I know what I want. It's pretty predictable. I'm good with it. So I will do bags of chicken, like frozen. Again, this isn't anything fancy. This is the quick and simple, dirty way to eat clean. And they're just like 4 or 5 ounce chicken breasts, something like that. And 9 times out of 10, I will just take one of these bags. This is really how lazy it is and how easy it is I'll crack it open. I'll dump sometimes a whole jar of salsa in there. One of my girls I'm working with on bikini posing, I think she was on here too, and Erin is on here. She actually told me about this today, and I'm going to try it, is liquid smoke. I found it, Ashley. So liquid smoke, I'm going to test this out, but also apparently a really great way to marinate your food. Another way is liquid aminos. So this is an alternative to soy sauce, liquid aminos. If anybody's ever tried it, let me know. What do you think? I think it's pretty damn good alternative. So you can add this and marinate your meat in that as well. Some other key things that you can do are like seasonings like Mrs. Dash, any of the seasonings just to jazz it up, let it marinate. Another one I didn't bring out here is who likes Frank's Red Hot, like buffalo wings. You can marinate your chicken, dump some Frank's Red Hot. That's my daughter's go-to. Is she like I'll be like, hey, I would call her when she was home because now she's away, but I'd be like, hey, can you marinate some chicken for me? Yep. She opens up a bottle of Frank's Red Hot, dumps it in a bag of chicken, and by the time I'm home, it's ready to go, and we just grill it up, and it's pretty damn good. Throw some barbecue on there if you want. If you would rather do barbecue sauce, you can do that as well. So again, I will marinate once, cook once, eat twice, sometimes 3 times. You can always switch up the flavors, jazz it up with different hot sauces. Like I showed you, sriracha, not sure, chipotle, Cholula, good stuff. And, you know, have it taste different so you don't feel like, oh, I'm eating the same thing. Some people, they're just like, I can't do that. I can't eat that 2 days in a row. You can switch it up, change it up, chop it up the next day cold, and put it over salad. Now, another option for lunches and dinners, because a lot of times I will do this as well, is bagged salads on the go. Hold on, right here for you. Okay, now these, super freaking simple and easy. I talk to my girls about this all the time. I'm like, don't overcomplicate it. Like, I usually grab, and like I did today, I grabbed 3 of these guys. Well, this is broccoli slaw. I only brought 2 of them out here, but 3 of these, and this is a bag, just a bag salad. You guys have seen these, right, in the grocery store? Super simple. They come with like all the little fancy accoutrements, like, you know, cranberries and things like that. And sometimes I'll use them, sometimes I won't. 9 times out of 10, I will not use the dressings that come in here. I just like the blend of the veggies that they have in there. Kale, this one's really good, the Mediterranean one. This is a brand new one that I tried a couple weeks ago and I really, really like. So I will grill my chicken, bake it, whatever, chop it up, throw it over a salad. I typically don't use the dressings in here because the ingredients aren't the greatest and they're pretty high in sugars. So I have found my own alternative dressing, which I'm going to show you. There's 2 different options that are a little bit better. Again, not perfect, but I'm not going to eat salad with lemon juice on it. Like, that was back in the competition days, and like, oh my God, like, strangle me now. I don't want just lemon juice on my salad, please. Okay, so this is a really great one. This is Bradbury dressing, and this is, you can find this in the salad dressing aisle. All kinds of antioxidants, blueberries, all kinds of great stuff. Super, super tasty stuff. This is great if you kind of like a vinaigrette style dressing with a tang to it. Perfect. If you're more of a creamy dressing kind of person, then this one is Bolt House Farms, and that is blue cheese. They have a bajillion different flavors of Bolt House. They have like cilantro ranch, they have balsamic, and basically lot less fat. They're made with yogurt, so there's a little bit of dairy, not a big deal. I don't drench my salad, so it's just enough to give it a little bit of a taste. Usually the chicken does a good enough job to help out with that, but these are 2 great options. They have a few different varieties as well of Bradbury dressing, so make sure when you check it out, there's also some other ones. They have like an Italian one that's really good too. So now everyone's like, well, what else? Like, what about the sides? Usually I will do, if I want some sort of carbohydrate, because ultimately, you know, salads can get boring for some people. I'm fine with it, but I know in the beginning it's like, God, I'm not a rabbit. I don't want to be eating salad all the time. Is complex carbohydrates. So things like brown rice, sweet potatoes, some things that I like to add. I'm not a big carb eater because it's, in terms of like wanting them with my dinner, I mean, I like me some carbs because I'm Portuguese and I love me some bread, but I don't be eating bread on the regular. It's kind of a fun thing that I add in occasionally, but for other filler foods that you can add when you're trying to lose body fat is things like these magical things, which are cauliflower crumbles. Now, we've also looked up and found some really great Pinterest recipes where you can make this like fried rice. Of course, it's not going to taste identical to rice, but you get the idea. But it's riced cauliflower. And you can saute it up, and it basically takes on any flavor you add to it. So throw in some garlic, some onions, sprinkle on some seasonings, a little bit of these liquid aminos if you want to jazz it up, And you can have this alongside, you know, your chicken. You can even have your complex carbohydrates like your sweet potato or your rice, and also add this in. You will be incredibly full and adding in some micronutrients to your diet as well. Some other great additions. This is another one too, which is cauliflower crumbles. And this actually says fried rice blend, but it has, it's great for stir fries, casseroles. You can add it into soups and stews. I've done that as well. But this has carrots, broccoli, onions, and cauliflower. All the hard work's already done for you. You just buy it, throw it in a pan, season it up, call it good. The other one I like to do is broccoli coleslaw. Again, a good filler that you can saute up. Throw your chicken in there. You can throw your broccoli in there. You can make sort of an Asian dish with it. Super easy. Just have to put all your seasonings and add that in. Now, the other thing that I do that is incredibly easy as well, instead of just chicken breast, because that's not all I eat, is I will do ground chicken, okay, or turkey, lean, making sure that I grab chicken breast or turkey breast, because there is a difference. And I'm going to show you too a couple other items here. So I will do, this is ground chicken breast. This is straight out from my freezer, as you can tell. Ground chicken breast. So when you go shopping, make sure you look at the label, because sometimes it'll just say ground chicken. If it's ground chicken, it's going to probably be thigh and some of the heavier cuts of meat, which is not really a bad thing. But if you are trying to whittle your fat, this is one area I like to whittle it, and I like to spend my fat in other ways. And I thought I packed my yummy fats in here, but I'll look for that in a second. But chicken breast, and then what I'll do is, again, this isn't ideal for all people, but like I said, my son actually picked these out. I will usually do the Mrs. Dash one. They have a Mrs. Dash taco seasoning packet. And what I'll do is I will cook up my chicken. I will throw on a seasoning packet, typically Mrs. Dash, because this is so high in sodium. I told my son to grab taco seasoning, and this is what he grabbed. So I will throw one or two of those depending on how much I make. I will usually do, at one time, I will usually make two, and that way, again, you guys know what I'm going to say. You know what I'm saying? Cook once, eat twice. Then you have stuff for the next day, and you're not left like, oh, I can't eat healthy today because I didn't make extra, or I don't have lunch to pack. So that's another option. I'm losing my food. Let's see. Patricia asked, where did you find the cauliflower bins? I actually, Patricia, got these. I went to Safeway today because I had taken my son out to lunch. And that was what was nearby was Safeway. I just wanted to run to the grocery store real quick. But I've also found them at Save Mart, and I think the Walmart grocery store as well. So so you could certainly find them there as well. Can you guys see me getting like redder and redder as we go on? Another great thing that I like to add to what else was it? I was going to say something else. Oh, about the chicken breast with the taco seasoning, I will make a taco salad. Incredibly freaking yummy. It's a hit every time. I love it. I will just rotate, obviously, my my dinner ideas, but not typically. I will put it on anything, you guys, because I'm really not too terribly picky when it comes to my salads. But I'll throw the taco seasoned meat on one of my salad blends, or they have another one that's you can get bags of shredded lettuce. So straight shredded lettuce, okay? And you can add that with your not authentic salsa, because, I just grab whatever. And also, instead of using sour cream, I didn't bring out here, but I actually did buy, is plain Greek yogurt. And that actually tastes just like sour cream. So for those of you that have tried Greek yogurt and thought it was going to be sweet, I know I did the very first time, and I was like, whoa, this is like sour cream. You can add that on top of your taco salad, mix it up, really, really good, makes an awesome dinner. The other thing I like to add, which is highly underrated, is hummus. And I'm just a huge fan of garlic, roasted garlic, but they also have an edamame hummus. They didn't have it today. I was a little disappointed. But that one is my favorite. But slapping a little bit of this stuff in your salads, mixing it up. You can use it with tuna. That is my favorite. Instead of mayonnaise is albacore tuna, which is a little higher in protein, better for you than the regular tuna stuff. Throw in some hummus, lemon, cilantro, mix it all up. You're good to go with your tuna. So you guys, that is all the stuff that I brought in my grocery haul tonight. just so happens to be what I'm eating on rotation probably this week. But another thing I wanted to talk about too is the importance of having sanity foods, and this makes up a bulk of my diet. So I really tote that, eating 80 to 90% clean, if you will, and then saving room for your sanity treats. And that's incredibly important, because what happens and why most diets fail is because you feel overly restricted, you feel like you're eating rabbit food all the time, and there's no room. You're in this like, I can't have that, I can't have that, I can't have that, I can't have that, I can't have coffee creamer, I can't have this because that's not on my diet. My trainer, my boot camp gave me this diet plan and it's not on my diet, so I can't eat it. And then what happens? You just go, oh, well, forget it, I'm just not going to do the diet. Or you suffer and you start to feel tortured because you're definitely in this like mindset of just you can't have all the time. So there are a handful of foods that I keep in rotation in my diet, not all the time. For the most part, I have to have some sort of chocolate every night because that's my sweet tooth. I probably have sweet teeth, but that's probably why I've had so many cavities as a child. But definitely making sure I have my sweet treats every night, and I will rotate, and that's so that way I don't feel like I can't have something. And it's practicing, it's definitely practicing mindfulness and moderation, and there's playing around with that. I go over that in Goddess Body University. I actually have a whole homework exercise dedicated to that, practicing working on your sanity foods, because the more that you try to remove yourself from it, the more it wants to lure you in, the more it feels forbidden, and our mind always wants what we can't have. So one of my other sanity treats that I brought home is chocolate. So these I actually haven't tried these, but I heard from some of my fitness friends that peanut butter malt balls are delicious, and I can't find them anywhere, so I got some. So this is things like this, I will make sure that I eat really well in terms of getting in my lean protein. There's a strategy that I go over in Goddess Body University, and it's PVCF. PVCF, can you remember that? Protein, veggies, carbs, and fats. And we talk about those, and we go over the list of those, and what they are, what they aren't. I know there's still a lot of confusion as to like what's protein and what's veggies are pretty much a no-brainer, but what are carbohydrates? And people think peanut butter. Where's my peanut butter? That peanut butter is protein, and peanut butter has protein, but it is not considered protein. It's considered a fat. So there's a lot of things that, naturally we're unaware of, and I'm helping break down that, those nutrition questions super simplistically, and making sure that you're aware, so that way you're not continuing to struggle. I see a lot of women that come through, the studio, or they come to my studio from, not having worked out or having worked out, and they're completely just focused on just the exercise portion. And you guys, I love exercise. I'm obsessed with exercise. I'm obsessed with movement, but not at the sake of my nutrition. So it definitely is important. Exercise is incredibly important, but it is not as important of a dial mover as most people think. It is what you are consuming. Like I tell my girls, we only get to see you for a small portion of the day, or if you're going to work out or you're doing a workout video or something like that, that's just like 30 minutes to an hour of your time. But it's the 23 other hours of your day that are incredibly important. So it's things like nutrition is a huge piece of it, and then also things like stress, lifestyle, sleep, digestion, so many other factors, hormones. So that is a lot of the stuff that we are going to uncover. I'm incredibly excited about the curriculum for Goddess Body University. I think it's like 8.0. It may be like 9 or 10.0, but I have a whole new strategy for the next 12 weeks. Also, alongside all the exercise stuff, all the other regular stuff that is included in the Goddess Body University program, but this is more to figure out your unique nutrition strategy. There are so many different ways to go about it. We're going to talk about like gluten-free, vegetarian week. We're going to talk about hormones and emotional eating. The very first week is incredibly important. I'm going to have guest expert Haiti Pippins from Diet Rebellion, and her and I are going to geek out on macros. And if you're like, what the heck is a macro? Then you're going to find out all about that. It's figuring out your unique calorie needs somebody who works an incredibly physical job is not going to need the same amount of, or is going to need much more calorie intake than somebody who has a sedentary job. So these are things to consider. So even if you never have come to my studio or you never end up doing any of my programs, I want to arm you with the knowledge that if somebody just hands you a cookie cutter plan and just says, this is what everybody in this boot camp is eating, you need to consider where you're spending your money, because that should not be a cookie cutter plan. We are not all the same. We should not be eating all the same. We don't all have the same preferences and styles of eating and ways of living and schedules and everything. It's incredibly unique to you. You're not going to eat like I am. I'm not going to eat like the next goddess. So it should be something that you're definitely doing your homework on and finding, and that takes time. And a lot of people aren't patient to do that, because I know I wasn't. When I first started, I was like, what pill can you give me that's gonna melt this 200 pounds off my body? It was definitely a concern for me. Versus like, let me find out my unique eating strategy. Like, that doesn't sound sexy, does it? It's like, Jan, just tell me what to eat and what to do. But in reality, it's going to keep us suffering and struggling, because it's not what's going to work for us uniquely. So that is what we uncover in Goddess Body University, starting on Monday, which I'm really excited about, if I haven't said that already. I'm excited for the girls that have already joined. We're going to dive in next week. We're going to have a worksheet that we'll go through with you and find out where you are. How much do you weigh? How active are you? Your height, your age. There's so many different factors. We uncover what your target is in terms of calories. And I'm not a huge advocate of like being so obsessed with numbers, but I think it serves a purpose in the very beginning when you aren't sure and you're completely unclear as to, I have no idea how many calories I'm eating. Maybe this is why I'm not losing any weight, is because I'm eating the same amount of calories all the time, or I just kind of don't really think about my nutrition. It's sort of like, just a mindless activity. I just eat just because I eat. And that's totally fine if it's working for you. But if it's not working for you, then it's definitely the time to take a step back, look at where you're at, look at where you want to go, where you want to be, how much body fat you want to lose, and start to sort of play around with figuring out your unique nutrition strategy. And that takes some guesswork if you're not sure how to do it. But when we have a solid plan in place, you will feel much more educated in the process. And that is my goal for each and every single woman. I know for me, it was a huge struggle in the beginning. When I first started eating healthy, I just was like, I'm just going to count calories. And, everything I read back in like 2007 was like, yeah, do 1,100 calories. And so I tried that. I would log everything, and I was like eating the most ridiculous stuff, like a corn dog, Miller Genuine Draft, and I was logging it, and it worked for like a week of like crazy, insane logging. And I noticed a couple pounds of weight loss, but like, what was the quality of that? Like, what was my body composition? And so that's the huge importance in terms of counting your calories, but also PVCF, which is protein, carbs, veggies, and fat. Those are your macronutrients, and those play a huge role into the calories. Like, how much protein are you eating? How much carbohydrates are you eating? How much veggies? How much fat? These are all super important to know if you're wanting to look lean and tight and sexy and firm everywhere. In terms of like changing your body, it's really important to know what these numbers are, so then you have a guide in terms of how you choose to eat. So we're going to play around with all that stuff in Goddess Body University, you guys. So for those of you that are interested and want to check it out, see if it's for you, the link should be right above my head. You could check it out and let me know if you have any questions. You can comment here below, and I will get to you within the next few days. We start on Monday. I'm very excited. So hopefully this video was helpful to you. If it was, give me a thumbs up. That would be awesome. Make sure, if you're just joining, to go back and rewatch it. I have a whole grocery cart of stuff here that I took out. I went through breakfast, I went through lunches and dinners, and my sanity foods. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. All right, you guys, I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great night.